You've been on stage all morning, so I'm conscious you're in the perfect presenting mode. For those of the viewers that don't know, what is the Cloud Communications Alliance?
So Cloud Communications Alliance is an alliance of all the key leaders and leading companies in the cloud communications industry, whether that be service providers, whether that be vendors. So some of the names they might recognize are, on the service provider side, Mitel, Cisco, RingCentral, Vonage, all really some of the largest cloud communications providers. On the vendor side, they might recognize, Panasonic, NEC, Polycom, Cisco, a lot of those who help give us the equipment and the platforms that we need to provide these services.
And what's the idea behind the alliance, effectively, and meetings like this? Because you were talking about some of the growth you've experienced, which is pretty impressive in terms of new members. A lot in the States, but I think in Europe it's even faster now. You're obviously attracting members. What's the real appeal?
Yeah, I think and we've doubled our size. Almost each meeting that we meet here in Virginia, DC area, our alliance has doubled year over year, and so a lot of it is really there's really three aspects: is the chance to meet other people in the industry. We had a best practice sharing session, so the chance to really share what's working, what's not working. The chance to get on the radar of a lot of the analysts. So we have some of the leading financial analysts here today that everyone will hear from. We have some of the leading industry analysts to get on their radar, and then also we have some of the leading experts. So they come here also not only get on the radar of these analysts, but also to learn from the experts in the industry of where is this all going, what do they have to do to evolve and be competitive in the future.
And you also bring some real insight to your members. And one of the things that you were talking about in detail this morning is the survey that you commissioned. So I just wanted to understand a bit more about the background behind commissioning that and then go into some of the findings.
No, that's great. And it's our first Cloud Communications Alliance survey. We'll plan to repeat this every year, but it's very interesting when you have 45 of the leading service providers worldwide and an almost equal between outside of U.S. and the U.S. replied to a survey with questions that are coming from us as they're members, they trust us, so we could ask them questions that maybe most analysts wouldn't get an answer on, right? And so it gave us real perspective of where the industry is growing. Most actually projected it growing faster than the normal analysts are projecting. They were projecting 40% growth for at least the members of the CCA who are the leaders, right? But they are growing very effectively. A lot of input on owning their own platform, where before we had platforms like BroadSoft and others who were the industry leaders and still are, right, and still do a great job. Many of them have that, and they have their own proprietary platform, whether it be for CPaaS or CCaaS, a contact center or a communications platform as a service. They're augmenting their voice services with their own proprietary platforms and integrating all of those things into a common bundle or solution.
Yeah, there were some really very interesting findings, and very kindly you consolidated those for me into some particular highlights. I thought one piece that was particularly interesting was about the potential threats that they're facing for some of those global cloud providers. We're talking about Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Yeah. The competitive landscape is changing dramatically from traditional telecommunications being the voice service to and why we really named it cloud communications, not cloud voice or anything else. We knew communications would be multifaceted, and as you look at the, now that we're in the cloud, those who actually were already in the cloud with other services, like you mentioned, whether that be Amazon or Google or others, now actually adding some of these other communication services become parts of the competitive landscape. So yeah, we definitely believe Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Slack, all of these will now be new entrants into the overall cloud communications market and bring new dynamics to the market that I think all of us have to learn how to get to the best end result of providing the optimal customer experience to our customers. And I suppose that's another huge benefit of all the Alliance members meeting up here, is that they can discuss those threats and how best to combat them. And the best practices you talked about this morning are designed to negate those sort of threats.
Yeah, exactly, Patrick. When you have an industry growing this fast, that's about 24% market share right now of the overall market, but almost everyone would project from an analyst standpoint that it's going to be close to 100%, right? Everything's moving to the cloud. When you're moving this fast as an industry, you have to stay on top of it. It's changing so dramatically. If you don't stay on top of it a monthly, if not quarterly basis, you'll get left behind very quickly.
And the final piece that I picked out from the survey was the the increasing targeting of enterprise customers, large enterprise. So we're talking customers with over 1,000 seats. Right. And traditionally, we might have associated a traditional service provider target with maybe SME or medium enterprise. But more and more of your members are going after those large enterprises and succeeding in them.
Right. Well, and I think there's two facets to that. One, this whole evolution of moving to the cloud started from the smaller customers, right? They were the earlier adopters. It was easier to provide them services. You had great companies like Vonage and Ring Central and 8x8 really go in there and provide these services to those lower end customers. And now all those companies as well as the others are all moving up market because the less penetrated areas, that mid to large enterprise. And with that comes a different set of tools, right? They want quality, they want security, they want video, they want collaboration, they want CPaaS type features and functionality. So they want that full portfolio of services as you go up market, and everyone likes to address that, but there's a lot of things you need to have in your toolkit to do that effectively.